All right, I'm gonna review in this video one of, if not the top contenders in the leg extension, leg curl department. That is not using plates, but a pin-loaded weight stack machine. This is expensive, but compared to the competition that's out there, it's actually a little bit lower in price. And you're not sacrificing any quality here because it's actually saying it's commercial grade. And I can definitely attest to that. We'll get into that here in this video. I've been an early adopter and advocate of such machines on this channel for some time, but I'm really trying to feel out the territory because even when I went to Home Gym Con, one of the things I was on a mission to search for, and talking to many of you who were there said the same thing, I was actually trying to find a leg extension, leg curl machine to actually adopt and bring home. So I was asked to review a few machines passing the channel, and when I tried a few out and just looking at close inspection and also seeing some other reviews, they did not really pass the test. Flash forward, MAXUM Fitness, people have been asking me to check out their products for some time. They allowed me graciously to give you guys this honest review here. So this was sent to me free for review. I'm gonna lay it down thick though on what I honestly think about it, because before I even agreed to it, I had to do a lot of careful consideration to see if this is even gonna be worth it, because did not want to go through all the hassle unboxing it and doing the review and also leaving it up here for some time. So already jumping into it here, guys, if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe. If you want to pick up anything from MAXUM Fitness, I'll drop a link down below in the description box, help support me and the channel. I'll go over the specs and dimensions here in a second, but visually you can kind of see that this still, even though it's pretty massive and big and much bigger in person when I was doing the unboxing, and I also will say of all the things I've unboxed and put together on this channel, this thing had the most intense packaging with multiple wraps of cloth covering and then foam covering. This thing was definitely packaged very professionally, I will say that. As far as overall footprint and for my needs, it's actually fairly compact for what it is. There's a lot of machines that look very similar, and it's honestly hard to tell if they are all white labeled or somewhat different. Based on what I'm seeing, the design and quality and also length dimensions can kind of differ, and this is a version 2 of the MAXUM Fitness from what I heard from them and also on their website. But the length is 52 inches, the width is 45 inches, and the height is 64 inches. The weight stack goes up to 265 pounds. The frame is a 2x4 11 gauge steel. Its overall packed weight is 630 pounds. This thing is pretty heavy. And then other just specs and things this has going for it, does have aluminum pulleys. I'm seeing that across the board on some of these other designs. It has a nylon coated aircraft grade cables. These things are essentially built to last you a long time. I already mentioned it has the Nautilus shaped cam. So famous for giving you that ideal strength curve doing various ranges of motion. And I forgot to mention you also have these 2.5 micro loaders up there, but I'm honestly not really using those too much. Got a chance to talk to the owner briefly. Very cool, down to earth guy. Had no problem with me laying out straight and honest for you guys in this video. So that's always a huge plus from any company and shows that they stand by their products. So while this thing is up there in price, this is not going to be in everyone's kind of territory or ballpark on what they want to spend for something like this. It's still, I think, pretty competitively priced. There is free shipping that's baked into the cost like other products. They also have a lifetime warranty across the board on all their products. And if you are a first responder, military, and even a teacher, you get an extra 5% off if you do a little application thing on their website. So that's also very cool plus. Now, with that said, none of this stuff really matters if the machine is not adjustable to your liking and it doesn't feel good for your preferences. Now, some of that is definitely impersonal preferences. There is kind of a Goldilocks effect. And I would say somewhat of a kind of a gamble with these machines, because even at Home Gym Con, like I said, there was nothing there that really blew me out of the water. In fact, there were some issues just in the way these machines were designed that it limited me from actually even liking them. From the comfortability of how this sit on your thighs to actually having like a straight up metal bar right here. I couldn't even, as I was going back, my heel was hitting the back of the bar on some machines. I've been messing around a lot with different positionings, but as a whole, the machine is fairly comfortable. Now, usually, ideally, you want to line up the point of rotation in your joint with the motion of the moving fulcrum of a machine. So generally that's where they have this little red line here to kind of give you that reference point. I sometimes go even before that, or I'll even go, sometimes I will adjust my position so I'm in front or even behind it at times. But I have had my wife on here who's much shorter than me. You maximize some of these various positions on the dial. For me, I'm pretty much maxing out if I'm doing leg extensions. If I'm doing leg curls, I'm going all the way to this end positioning, and if I'm doing leg extensions, I'm using this far hole over here. Either way, I find the position and the feeling works out pretty good. Lock myself in like this, no problem, but I actually found myself further just kind of locking myself in like this, which you are literally just like suctioned in the machine at this point. If you want to get out, I give myself a very hard forward pressure, and then I release it that way. First time I tried that though, I thought I was gonna be stuck in the machine and wish I had my phone next to me, but luckily that did not happen. I'm used to on that other, the lever-based cheap one, about really cranking it back more. For most people that's not comfortable, but for this one, you don't really necessarily need to go back that far, but issues I found on other machines is that my back heel would hit something back here. There's none of that, so there's some space. You get enough of an angle here where I feel like you have that tension. I'm not feeling like I'm bottoming out. I could maybe adjust the cabling tension here a little bit, but for the most part, based on what I've been doing so far, this feels very good for how I would probably use the machine. And I can actually probably torque myself in a little bit more, just like this. That's probably the ideal kind of perfect position for me. So you see hamstring curls, feels good. I got a nice stretch. I even got some room here on the plates. I think you guys can see that on camera. So just showing you the leg curls, you can see I got some good play here. I got a solid stretch. I'm totally locked into the machine. This feels totally comfortable, and I got room here to play forward and back if I really want to. You got your handle grips down there. Yes, I could go heavy with this and say knee extension the whole entire rack. I've never been a believer, I'll just leave it at that, about doing super heavy stuff with leg extension, leg curls. I think it's better to kind of fine tune the tension, find that groove, feel that connection with the muscle, and either do moderate tempo, faster tempo, but the main thing is that I'm trying to really focus that tension on the muscle. And as I'm just doing these few reps right here on the camera, can feel that for sure. It is different than the lever-based one, which is more of an abrupt, kind of like an initial pump of when you only really feel like from here to here on the lever version, but very different strength curve, something that if you're not used to, you'll appreciate with this cam. This segment might not even be necessary, but I do want to mention that, not necessarily a defense of this, but just kind of the either or situation, because I do think these things have their place, these very inexpensive ones, because of the footprint, because of the cost, and because you can move this thing in and out and it's not so heavy, versus that is for sure a commitment. I know the big benefit of those is going to be the strength curve with that Nautilus cam especially. It is almost like a different type of sensation you're going to get in your quads, but it's not to say that this is bad. So I'm just going to show you guys that one of the reasons that I really do like these machines is because I can really just torque myself in this extreme position. I don't actually have this in the knee extension position, but from right here, just how much range I get that, yes, you don't get any tension till right about here. What I do like about it, and this is something I felt initially with that, not necessarily in a bad way, but you don't really have any patella issues or any kind of knee issues with something like this, because it starts to get harder really on the easier part of kind of the movement. So that can be sometimes a benefit for some people. Conversely, something like that, out of the gates, it's already pretty difficult. What I do like about these leverish ones is that I can actually kind of crank and almost kind of get almost like a finisher, kind of like end pump sensation that is kind of different between that and this. So I'm not trying to say this is better. I would say objectively that is the better overall stress and stimulus to get to your quads and hamstrings. But overall, I'm very happy with this. I would say the other comparison that's maybe up closest that I'd say is very similar based on the stuff I've tried of those maybe 5 or 6 machines, say at home gymkhana again, will be the Titan Fitness one. That one felt pretty good as well. The downside would be that I think had a lesser weight on the weight stack, and I believe it was also, I think it's more expensive than this. This feels commercial grade, but I think for most people when you're paying over $2,000, it definitely, in my opinion, probably should. But if this is not in your ballpark and you not like something like this, I still stand by these very cheap things are good. I'd probably get something like that versus some of these like add-on attachments that go onto various squat racks, but that is just me. Hopefully this is informative and you guys can make a good informed decision, not just on this, but any other leg extension, leg curl in the future. Any questions, comments, feedback about this or anything else in the future that you guys want to see, especially from MAXUM Fitness, let me know. You guys, of course, will see this thing in the rotation in future videos. If this thing makes the cut, if it doesn't, if there's any issues with it, I will pin a comment down below. See you guys on the next video.